I don't know personally what you feel about FBI Director Kash Patel, but I suddenly understand why the Democrats may be attacking him so vigilantly during his testimony that he's giving to the congressional members. Yesterday, during his testimony, something so demonic and so evil appeared that it should have changed everything. Now, I often read in the comments that, Justice, you're so dramatic. Do you know, folks, we live in a real damn dramatic world right now. There's nothing normal occurring as much as we'd all want to sit back and relax and believe everything's comfortable. It's not comfortable. It's not normal. And what I'm about to cover for you that occurred during his testimony is not normal. And so I'm going to ask you to sit back and prepare yourself, because it's really going to be hard to be prepared for what you're about to hear and see and have to understand. And I'll bring it to you in just a few seconds. Before we roll into the main story, and it won't take long today, I'm going to keep this because I took my entire broadcast and I shredded it down because I want to get right to the main story. But there's many things we have to cover. As many of you saw on my Facebook post yesterday, if you don't follow me at Facebook, it's pretty easy. Justice Night. It will come up immediately. I'd love you to follow me there. Jimmy Kimmel, gone. ABC yanks, and of course HuffPost is up in arms, obviously, as you can see here, gone crazy over it, as many have. And in case you don't know what Jimmy Kimmel stated that caused it, here is the clip.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything.
Stop there. Making the claim that the assassin of Charlie Kirk was one of the MAGA gang, and hence his cancellation. Now, somewhat official. They're looking for an apology to Erica Kirk as this story continues to develop, and that's about all the headlines I want to give to Jimmy Kimmel, especially when we get to the headline story. Trump says he'll designate Sick Antifa as a terrorist group. Now, this gets a little bit closer to our main headline. Why this took so long, I'll never understand. I can give you an explanation as to why it's taken so long. Because HuffPost and many on the left want you to always believe that it is the right that foments violence. They have for years. DOJ deletes study documenting frequency of far-right violence. Did they remove the study? They did. It's gone. But who's to say the study was accurate? Because it appears now that suddenly when we're in a further air of accuracy, it's not the right that's been fomenting violence. We have an abundance of information on that now. We have an abundance of action that we've seen on that now. So let's go back to Antifa. That HuffPost reports, short for anti-fascist, is an umbrella term for a far left-leaning militant group and is not a singular entity. They consist of groups that resist fascists and neo-Nazis, especially at demonstrations. It's unclear how the administration would label what is effectively a decentralized movement as a terrorist organization, and the White House on Wednesday did not immediately offer more details. Trump's previous FBI director, Chris Wray, said in testimony in 2020 that Antifa is an ideology, not an organization, lacking the hierarchical structure that would allow it to be designated as a terror group. So, I don't know about you, but I've seen many clips of Antifa and their actions. So because they don't have an org chart, you can't designate them a terrorist organization. Is that truly, HuffPost, what you'd like us to believe? So they can do whatever they want because they don't have an org chart? Huh. If that's the case, then how many other groups could we not designate a terrorist organization because they don't have an org chart? especially the one that Director Patel exposes to America yesterday that stuns a wider audience. But before I go there, if there's no org chart per se, then why did Biden state this exactly?
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
The famous red pulpit speech, right? Because I don't think anyone I know appears on that org chart, but yet he was perfectly capable and able to make that statement on the red pulpit speech. And the left find that absolutely fine. But designating Antifa as a terrorist organization, that's not perfectly fine. This is just the tip of the iceberg and what will bother you. So Donald Trump making the announcement. Antifa is sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards. And then, at this point, my broadcast changed. I have another 22 slides that I'm not going to cover today because of what occurred during Kash Patel's testimony. Because I want to protect your children and your grandchildren. And what I'm about to cover for you, I have to be very, very careful. So I'm going to work on the public platforms to be very, very careful. This will be full of tripwires. As you know, I try to do everything in an air of moderation here, respectful to all rules on public platforms, and I'm going to do that. But for those of you, I need you to pay attention. I need you to protect your grandchildren and your children and be aware of what is happening in the United States of America right now. We have kids. We have daughters, 3 daughters, who could be affected by this. That's why I dug in so deep. And I'm even going to later if you want the details that will turn your stomach, and they're going to be tough to absorb because I had to absorb them. I'm going to do it on our platform, hence why we created our platform, restrictedrepublic.com. Before you go there, I want to thank you all again. Yesterday's video, another huge hit. Subscriber count continues to grow. You all appreciate the style of news I bring you, which is what journalism was meant to be. It's not supposed to be one-sided. It's really not supposed to be partisan, even though sometimes it's hard to keep opinions out, understandably. I want to respect and thank each and every one of you for doing some simple things to help the algorithm on these public platforms know this news matters, and that's by subscribing. If you're new here, welcome home. If you're an existing subscriber, by making sure your bell is checked to all so you're actually alerted to my broadcasts. You can go to Justice Night, subscribe there also. I'll send you my own alert whenever a video goes up. By sharing the videos, by commenting, by doing those pinned comments that I put up, that helps all the public platforms know that you respect this news. And because of that, they've started to share these videos to a much wider audience, and we've gained tens of thousands of subscribers. We're nearing 100,000, which is a major landmark, and thank each and every one of you for that. Those of you who've joined as members, thank you. Those of you who've gone to our platform, our news platform, Restricted Republic, thank you. And those of you who've helped, somebody very important to me who helps to bring you these videos and have gone to Chapter, this is the best thing you could do today. If you are looking for Medicare, if you have a loved one looking for Medicare, this is something free. It's a simple phone call, 805-619-5011. And that helps to support me too by making that phone call. And in return, you can save some money. The average person who calls that phone number could save $1,100 a year. Most people, under 20 minutes or less, find out that they can save almost $1,000 in under 20 minutes or less. So what's it hurt? I've heard time and time again, but Justice, I have the best plan. Maybe you do. And by calling that number, you find out you do. And so great. You feel great about yourself, right? But what if you don't have the best plan? And what if the professionals, the Medicare licensed professionals at Chapter, who know how to go through all the options available to you in your area, find out that there's a better plan and they offer it to you, and you make the decision to go to that better plan and put money back in your pocket, guess what? That's going to be a pretty good feeling today for calling a free phone number, talking to a live person, and letting them sort through the minutia, the red tape that is Medicare. That's what their profession is. That's what they do for their living. Let them go through it for you by calling 805-619-5011 today. It'll be the best phone call you make. But now let's get back to this broadcast. So what did I skip? I skipped the ABC reporter that had to apologize for the very touching comment. I had to skip Steam, Discord, and Twitch, even though this ties into the story I'm about to cover. I had to cover the fact that China has infiltrated on the Charlie Kirk story, and they are posting dissension within the United States, calling us incompetent, asking about surveillance footage, talking about Israel because they're trying to sow divide in this country. I skipped all of that and I came right to this. Now, I could play the accolades of what Kash Patel has done as FBI director, but you can find that everywhere. So I'm going to skip that. I could play you Jim Jordan coming to defend Kash Patel, but I'm going to skip that because you could find that everywhere. I could play you the numerous amount of Democrats attacking Kash Patel, but you could find that everywhere. Be it, there's one thing that a lot of people missed, and it was this. Because Kash Patel and the FBI just caught a monster. I would call it a demon. And this story, well, this isn't really reported everywhere. And that should beg a larger question, right? Why? I want you to listen to this, and I'll explain it a little bit further for you.
But they don't stop. Our cyber threats, ransomware attacks, those harming our children online. We have nearly a 20% increase in indictments and arrests in 7 months alone this year. We're going after those that harm our malware, infrastructure systems, telecom systems, and energy structure. Combating SALT and Vault typhoons are just a little bit of the examples we're doing. Maybe most importantly, under the counterterrorism and domestic terrorism umbrella, are nihilist, violent extremists, and those that label themselves 764, who wish to go online and convince children to. And we are producing record numbers of arrests under that umbrella organization. We even stopped an individual in the 764 network who wanted to conspire to kill an adolescent girl.
How many of you heard about that? How many of you read about that? You heard a term he threw out there, nihilism. A viewpoint that traditional values and beliefs are unfounded and that existence is senseless and useless. Your existence doesn't matter. You're a servant to us. And there's folks out there that are convincing children of this. Your existence is of no consequence. You'll be a servant to me. And young minds are easily changed by this. And Director Patel has found this network, the 764 network, and he encourages people to read a story because only one story at the time when he wrote this had come out on it. It's deeply disturbing but critically important, he states, to understand what's out there and to be aware of the threats American kids and families are facing every day. The criminals in these networks use online platforms to target vulnerable kids, coerce victims, and recruit others, often resulting in horrible cases of abuse. It's absolutely tragic. And I want people to know we're cracking down hard. Remember, last week we announced our agents and partners arrested 2 alleged leaders within 764. We've opened hundreds of cases around the country, and our field office are fully engaged. This is a priority for myself, Dan Bongino, and our leadership team. But he's... sorry. Again, moderation is very important because I know the actual statistics behind this. ABC was the one who did the story. FBI has opened 250 investigations tied to violent online network 764 that preys on teens. This is one of the most disturbing things we're seeing. And Democrats are sitting there attacking Kash Patel, saying he's one of the most unqualified FBI directors ever. He's useless. That's their words. But there's been arrest after arrest. Tampa teen linked to extremist network. This is 764. There's the indictment. Rocker faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in federal prison. What's below I can't read. There's reason, there's rules. Member of extremist extortion group pled guilty to racketeering child murder plot in Kentucky because his victim stopped playing along. There's the indictment. One of the leaders of a exploitation ring arrested in federal takedown. This just happened recently, May 1st, 2025, known as Trippy on the network. Encouraged 764 members to coerce and extort minors. This is what he just talked about. There's the indictment. And Jasmine Crockett chose to attack Kash Patel and called him the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI. But how come before he was FBI director, we never heard about this? Because this isn't a new network. No. And the statistics aren't new. And let me prove that to you. Protecting children and teens from online dangers is no easy feat. It's an ever-changing landscape, and in many ways, it's easier than ever for predators to target children online. In 2023, reports of child online exploitation made to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children cyber tip line rose by more than 12%, surpassing 36.2 million reports. 36.2 million reports. Did you hear about this under the Biden administration? Kash Patel is the most unqualified FBI director, the man who just caught these heinous individuals, outed it to the American public, the 764 group, and he is the most unqualified FBI director. You see, the face of pure evil showed itself in that testimony yesterday. And I didn't even present you the details of what they are and what they do. And so if you want to protect your grandchildren and children, then you're going to need a strong stomach, and you're going to follow me. And I'm going to carry on this podcast. And I'm going to give you those details. If you're at Restricted Republic, you're going to carry on to the next video, and it's going to carry a very simple image of a Barbie doll with 764 on its head. That will be the tab. It's going to be pretty easy to see. And if you want to join me over there, I'd love you to join us, please. There's reasons. It's why we created a platform for stories just like this, because there's details you deserve. And so, out of respect to the public platforms, I move it over there so I can give you the details. I want to always be able to get my voice out to a large population of people. And hence why I respect the rules of the public platforms. And I work very hard to do so, very hard. There is a million tripwires, and I think I do a pretty damn good job of following it. Also, folks, I want to add here, if you see any indication of this going on, here's what you do to protect your children and yourself. I need you to go to report.cybertip.org. Again, report.cybertip.org. This is where you report the incidents of any of this you see. This alerts authorities. They can take care of the incidents. This is how you protect your children and someone else's child. This is critical. Again, report.cybertip.org. All these information not only given to us by the FBI, also reported by ABC. This is critical that this information gets out, hence why we did a report. I want to make sure you had report.cybertip.org. But these details, You can't miss, folks. Please don't miss them. And this isn't a bait and switch. I freaking get so sick of that comment. It's a necessity, an unfortunate necessity of what we have to do. But I will inform you. You know, folks, there is a 2-week free trial on our platform. So even if you just want to go there and cancel, you have your own dashboard to do it at restrictedrepublic.com. It's that important to me. Go ahead and do it. I'll pay the fee for you to come on and leave. That's fine. It's that urgent for you to get there, to understand what this is so you can identify it and help your grandchildren and children to avoid what these people are. There, I told you to go to my own platform, subscribe and unsubscribe before the 14-day free trial ends. You got a dashboard to do it, because that's how critical this is and how much I believe I want to protect every child in this damn country from these scumbags. And I'll give you all the details you need to do so. I love you all. Yes, there. I went unmoderated for a moment, and you're about to see a whole lot of more unmoderation in a few minutes. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless Justice Knight. Signing out.